The American dream is dead. I grew up the son of two Cuban immigrants. I was told my whole life, if you work hard and be a good person, you can buy a house, have a family, be happy. I've come to the realization that that was utter horseshit. Either the American dream was a fucking lie or it was killed long before I could ever dream of it. I did everything they told me to do. Got my degree in something I love. Didn't take out any student loans. Never got in trouble with the law. But tell me why I struggle to get out of bed every morning for a job that I hate, which pays what is minimum wage in some states. I live in Florida, which means you only have quality of life if you're a white straight rich male, and my wife and I are barely getting by each month. Then when I finally do get home after a long day at said shitty job, it's just a process to get ready for the next day. My wife and I are one catastrophe away from being totally wiped out. We can't even afford to consider having children cause they're so goddamned expensive. I used to tell myself I don't mind if I'm not well off. As long as I have a job I love and I'm happy, I'll be fine. Well, I don't have any of those things. I'm not a stupid guy either, at least I like to think I'm not stupid, but I feel like the deck has totally been stacked against people just trying to make an honest living. Every night I come home from work and I just feel like crying. Is this what the rest of my life is going to be? Is this what I have to look forward to till I'm an old man with no kids, having to survive on social security payments? I'm done. I'm over it. X200B. You're not alone, man. Every single one of us here has come to that realization at one time. Society is not a meritocracy. So many of us are working poor. At this point I've given up on retirement someday. I'm following my passion because fuck spending 8 or 9 hours a day doing something that makes me miserable if I'm not going to be able to afford to pay rent anyways. My new American dream is to have enough money to leave America. The American dream has always been a lie to trick the have-nots into laboring their lives away in hope of making it one day. I'm white and 55 and I'm gonna work until I'm not physically able to go to work. It's not just you. That's why they call it the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it. George Carlin. The American dream was real, but the generations before us got theirs and told us to F off. Honestly, from my perspective, things like the American dream feel like propaganda. Even back in the old days, there were probably bunches of people who missed out on getting it, such as the way women were treated in employment, as an example. It's always been a lie for nearly everyone who has ever lived in the United States. The post-World War II economy from 1945-2002 was the result of American industrial dominance and New Deal taxation that started being unraveled 42 years ago. In 2002 I was a freelance trumpet player in Las Vegas who, although skilled, lost my career to alcoholism. Today I'm more than 6 years sober, but I can't find a job better than pushing carts. I'm 53 and basically marking time to death. American nightmare. One of us, one of us, one of us. The American dream always asked one question of you: how many people are you willing to step on to get where you want to be? You're not alone. I lied to my wife telling her if I go to school I can make more money. I'm 20k in debt and making less, lost my apartment and have no kids. I figured no kids means I can travel. None of that has happened. My last vacation was 11 years ago. It was 4 hours away and only lasted the weekend. There was no American dream. It was a hoax to get people to work for the rich. We are just slaves waiting to die in the end. Opinions on the embargo. Like to ask when I get the chance. Study and get a degree and job in something that you love is such terrible advice. Make sure the things will actually make you enough money to live. Hey man, I'm a white male and I'm struggling too, lol. I truly pray you find your way. Much love. You have a degree and making minimum wage? The American dream, the Australian dream, the British dream. It's fucked all over the Western world. Got to ask how and why. I was with you until you said I live in Florida, so you only have quality of life if you're a white straight rich male. What the fuck? I live in Florida and I'm doing fine, and I'm Hispanic too. Have you even been to Miami? Cubans own that shit. Thinking like this victim mentality is keeping us down. What do you do for work? My mom immigrated from Cuba as well. I didn't get a degree, struggled for 10 years not knowing what to do. Worked a bunch of low-paid dead-end jobs. Recently got a job that gives me hope for the future. Will still take some years to feel fully comfortable. I am a child of an American father and immigrant mother. My parents worked hard so that hopefully I would have it easier. Sadly, it looks like I will have to work harder to just keep the same standard of living. It is heartbreaking. I'm living it, man. 3 kids, 2 dogs. Sitting in my yard tonight smoking a cigar by the fire with my kids. Just have to find the right job in the right area. It's a lot harder to achieve than it used to be. But you can do it. The middle class needs to stop voting as are out for corporations and the wealthy. It's so obvious. It died when everyone got glued to their phones and stopped fighting for equality. Don't Cubans mostly vote Republican every cycle? Never existed for African Americans, only now the rest of the country is just finding out. I feel you on that, man. I'm also a Cuban immigrant. Shit's been dead. Same here, my parents are Mexican immigrants. We were told to study, be smart to get ahead. Move to Central America or South America, man. Look at Costa Rica or Belize. So what did you graduated with, which degree, and what do you do now? It was a possible thing for the average person until around the mid-2Ks. Now you have to make 6 figures to have a basic bitch crack den in a lot of cities. The American dream still exists. You just better know someone to help you achieve it. Networking is all that matters. It's called the American dream because you need to be asleep to believe it. George Carlin. To quote George Carlin, it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. American dream actually made sense like 30-40 years ago. Today it's being used as propaganda to make people bust their asses in the glory of their own country. It's not dead, it was a scam all along. Ponzi scheme, if you will. You lost me at white straight rich male. I work 12-hour shifts 6 days a week. I get 1 day off and I maybe have $500-600 to myself every 2 weeks after I pay everybody's bills. Talk less and work harder. Get rid of the victim and racist mentality. By the way, those white straight rich males worked hard for what they have too. Well, let's check in on Cuba for comparison. Oh no. You only have quality of life if you're a white straight rich male. Using race, sexuality and gender as an excuse as to why you aren't living the life you want to live, says a lot about you. Is this what the rest of my life is going to be? If you don't set yourself some professional goals and work to achieve them, yes. The American dream died with the Reagan administration. It's been downhill for the non-ones since then. Florida is your problem. The American dream is around, but it's harder for sure. Almost all of my friends in their late 30s, early 40s have been able to buy a house and start a family. Not always by me in California, but they found it. My younger friends, early 20s, are starting the process of saving and climbing the job ladder. In 5-10 years they should have enough saved for a decent down payment on a home. It's not easy, it's not dead, it's somewhere in between, and near impossible for a minimum wage worker. Oh, Reagan double-tapped that shit in the 80s. Nope, not dead. I see examples of it every day. Yes, Republicans killed it. Thank you for speaking exactly what I am experiencing. Stay strong. White straight rich male. That's a whole lot of hate. Maybe not concerning yourself with race, socioeconomic status or gender would be a good start to a better life. Who told you to get degree in something you love? That's horseshit. Work is a means to get money, not hobby.